Welcome to Weekly Sports Talk with Ed, episode 7. Uh, I'm gonna get right into it. I'm gonna start with well, obviously I'm gonna cover the Olympics. I'm gonna get to that later in the episode. Talk about some NBA stuff, but I'm gonna get started with some wrestling stuff. I'm gonna start with WWE and the fallout after SummerSlam. Made a video pretty much talking about what happened on Raw, but I was gonna go into more detail about a few things. I'm gonna start with Xavier Woods first. The Xavier Woods could potentially turn on Kofi Kingston. As we saw this past Raw, the New Day got a win over the Oscar Pain after getting some help from Odyssey Jones, took out Karrion Cross, then took out AOP after the match. They tried to attack the New Day. Woods wasn't too happy because Kofi didn't call him to confirm that this was happening because Kofi made the call to Odyssey Jones, but Xavier knew nothing about it. And Xavier Woods, he was like very confused and kind of upset. It's like, what is this guy supposed to be? Is he supposed to replace Big E? Is he here to help? What's his intentions? Stuff like that. So, and they've been teasing it for a few weeks. So if Xavier Woods turns next Monday or sometime in the near future, sometime this month, I wouldn't be surprised. I think it would help Xavier Woods for him to go on a singles run. Because he's been in the tag team a long time. Obviously, Kofi got his run. Big E got his run as world champions. I don't know if Xavier Woods will ever get to that level. I hope he does one day to get in that world title scene. I think he could be in a mid card title division, fight somebody like a Braun Breaker. He probably wouldn't win, but that would be a good match, good program for them to have. It'll it'll suck if the New Day has to split up because they've been one of the best tag teams in WWE history. But at this moment, with Big E still out with his injury, we don't know if he'll ever be back. This makes a lot of sense because it hasn't felt the same since he's been out. I don't, and it's not gonna feel the same having Odyssey Jones replace him. But yeah, I think Xavier Woods is turning on Kofi Kingston sometime this month, as early as this upcoming Raw when they return to USA. Uh, Yeah, I'm just kind of not covering all the Raw, like I said. Damage Control and Sonya Deville's group. I don't know what they're doing with this rivalry. If it's going to lead to, well, I think they're doing the number one contenders tag title match. Whoever wins is going to face Alba Fire and I was down for the tag titles. But I don't know. You got two heel groups, and I think people love Io Sky and Kyrie Sane and Dakota Kai, which Damage Control took out Dakota Kai, who was supposed to wrestle Sonya Deville, but Io Sky took her spot. She got the win over Sonya. And it's like a 2-on-3, but they were able to take advantage of that earlier in that show. Damage Control came out to save Laura Valkyria. So I don't know if they're turning Damage Control into baby faces or if they're just doing this heel versus heel rivalry to establish we're the top team in the women's division. Like I said, other than the tag, one of them fighting for the tag title soon. Soon, I don't see it really leading to anything. Because what happens to the loser is who they feud with next. And I think Shannon Baszler and Zoe Stark, I think they'll get the win because they've been a good. They should have won the women's tag titles a long time ago. And I think they'll get that chance to face Alba Fire and Alba Dunn for the tag titles and win them. Because even though I think Damage Control is the better team, it just makes sense because Damage Control they've held the tag titles a few times, so they don't need it again. They're already established. But this group, Sonya Deville, Shane Baszler, Zoe Stark, not loving it. It's not terrible, but it's there's not much going on right now. Next, the Wyatt Six made their debut, defeating American Made. I don't think this rivalry is over. I think we still got to have a match with Uncle Howdy and Chad Gable. I think that still has to come. And if we get Ivy now involved, if Gable can convince Ivy now to join him and sell the Creed brothers, then I could definitely see a program with her and Nikki Cross, who say Abby the Witch. That's all weird. But yeah, I feel like you could get Ivy now involved in this because they don't have a American Made doesn't have a woman in their group, and they potentially do a 4-on-4 mixed tag match with American. But American Made look good, even though they lost the match. But I definitely see this rivalry going on a little bit longer. You could stretch this out through the month of August because you have there's nobody else really available for either team to feud with right now. So you could definitely build that up. But Brunson Reed became a star in one segment. They had been doing some stuff with Brunson Reed earlier in the year, getting some big matches, getting on a few pay-per-views earlier in the year. But nobody really believed that he was like a threat, but he made a huge impact taking out Seth Rollins. And that whole segment made him look like a star. Delivered 6 tsunamis to Seth, and my God, he looked amazing. So I definitely hope they can build him up uh, like a threat, put him in some prominent matches, get him in some good feuds, some good matches. And by 2025, by the end of 2025, he can be a champion if they build him up right. Because that segment with Seth made him look amazing. And the last thing from Raw I'm gonna cover is Sami Zayn and Jey Uso. I think they would be them. I wasn't a fan of the idea of Jey winning the tag titles again. As you know, he won it with Cody Rhodes after he left the bloodline. And the whole thing about him leaving the bloodline so he can become a single star and do stuff on his own. But it's getting pretty close to that bloodline civil war, which will probably happen at War Games in November. So I think you pairing Sammy and WWE pairing Sami Zayn and Jey Uso right now to win the tag titles, I think that would be perfect. Definitely take it off the Judgment Day. Yeah, I think Jey Uso had it. He has 4 shirts in the top 10 selling in the month of August so far. Got to put some type of championship on him. Obviously, not going to take it from Braun Breaker right now. Even if he was, he got to beat him. That would have to be sometime down the line next year. I don't see Braun Breaker losing it anytime this year. He Braun Breaker might hold the IC title to uh, WrestleMania. But a way to get Jay back to the title picture is with the tag titles. And I think Jay and Sandy can elevate the tag titles. Because the tag titles on both brands haven't been what they were since they were split again. But Sammy and Jay can help the Raw Tag Team division. And now moving on to SmackDown, which took place last night. The first segment he had Cody Rhodes come out there and he talked about he wanted to give a certain guy a title opportunity, somebody that deserved it. Then Solo and the Tongans came out there. But then Kevin Owens, he came out there to back up Cody, scared off Solo and the Tongans. They went to the back. Then, then Kevin Owens was leaving. Cody told him to wait, told him to come back, and Cody offered him championship match with Bash in Berlin. Kevin Owens didn't want to accept it, but Cody told Kevin that he was going to Nick Aldis to talk about it. And later in the show, as Cody was talking to him, uh, Kevin Owens came back there and he was like, I don't deserve it. Then Nick Aldis, he mentioned that he was going to give Roman another shot at his title. Well, at the title that he lost to Cody. And Kevin Owens was like, I'm not deserving, but Roman isn't deserving either. He screwed so many people, had his family help him. He was like, I understand, champions got to do what they got to do to keep the title. And he's like, you're trying to enforce a rematch clause that we haven't used in years. So you can go to the locker room, find plenty of guys that are more deserving than me and Roman. And that along with Kevin Owens saying all that he said, Nick Aldis made the match official. It was Kevin Owens. So at Bash in Berlin, it's going to be Kevin Owens versus Cody Rhodes for the undisputed WWE Championship. Now, both of them being faces, I don't know how they're going to build this up when it comes to promos and stuff because Kevin Owens is already saying he doesn't deserve it. Cody wants to give him a shot because he's been helping him with the bloodline. So that's the story right there. It has a good story that's building it up. I don't know how they're going to build that up. but it should be good. Uh, the Street Profits defeated A-Town Down Under, and DIY defeated Pretty Deadly. So next week, DIY and Street Profits gonna face each other in a tag team match, and whoever wins is gonna take on the Bloodline at some point for the tag titles that on SmackDown. Makes sense. A-Town Down Under went 1-1. They'd be awesome proof earlier in the week if they lost to the Street Profits. Angelo Dawkins mentioned that the Street Profits haven't won tag titles in 3 years, which that's surprising because the Street Profits are a really good tag team. And DIY, they just lost the titles, but they never got a rematch. So it kind of goes like the thing Kevin Owens said, how are you going to give Roman a rematch of his title, but DIY has to be in the tournament to get a rematch of their titles. But I think DIY and the Street Profits, it'll be a good match. I feel like it's the main event SmackDown next week since the stakes are so important. It's going to be whoever wins is going to face the Bloodline for the tag titles. And I think whoever does win, which I think it'll be the Street Profits, I think Jimmy Uso will help the Street. Whoever wins, I think Jimmy Uso will help them when it comes to their match against the Bloodline. And that starts building more seeds towards the Bloodline Civil War. If the Bloodline took out Jimmy, now he's going to be back on Roman's side looking for revenge. Santos Escobar and Andrade had a number one contenders match, and whoever won would face late night sometime for the United States Championship. This was a really good match between Santos and Andrade. But you know, Andrade had beat Carmelo Hayes twice. So Carmelo, he got involved twice, ironically, in the match, and they ended up making Andrade lose. And Escobar, he won. So at some point, I don't know if it'll be next week or Bashing will win, but Santos is gonna have a match with LA Knight for the United States Championship. Santos, he was taunting LA Knight. He was telling the fans, he was like, y'all gonna be saying Escobar C. And that was really funny. As you know, LA Knight does the thing where it's like LA Knight, yeah. So that was really funny to see Santos do that. Jade Cargill had a very short match with Alpha Fire, who was one half of the tag team champions. This is a great way to make a champion look bad. The match wasn't even 3 minutes from what I remember. Jade won pretty easily, and Alpha Fire is the tag team champion. But then after the match, Alpha Fire, Dunn, Blair Davenport came out there. They were attacking Jade and Bianca. Naomi finally came back, a few weeks ago, where Davenport took her out. But Naomi, she came back to even up the odds. And the Jade, Bianca, and Naomi, they ended up standing tall over the other three. It's going to lead to a six-woman tag team match at some point, probably next week, or or just some more one-on-one matches. But this was the only women's match on SmackDown, and it definitely should have been longer. No need for that match, especially with a champion. You're gonna have a champion competing. The match needs to be at least 5 minutes long. It can't need don't need to be less than 5 minutes. Then the last segment of the night was Roman Reigns destroying the bloodline. Roman destroying the new bloodline. Uh, Solo, Solo left the ring, and Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa, they just got beat up. And then Roman did get a chance on Solo, but Solo, he ended up escaping. Yeah, Roman Reigns destroyed the new bloodline all by himself, 1-on-3. But that's it for the SummerSlam Fallout. Both Raw and SmackDown were great. I think Raw was one of the best Raws of the year. It was definitely up there. I wouldn't say this was one of the best SmackDowns, but it wasn't bad. It was definitely a good SmackDown, and I enjoyed it. Let's stand with wrestling. I'm gonna move into a weekly recap for AEW. Just cover some of the high points. Not everything was important, but Dynamite started with MJF having a good 20-minute match. I think, pretty sure it was 20 minutes against Kyle Fletcher. It's a great job of building the feud with him and Will Ospreay because Cal Fletcher and Will Ospreay are best friends. And last week, Cal Fletcher had saved Will Ospreay from an attack by MJF. So this was a good 20-minute match. MJF ended up getting the win. And it was really, Cal Fletcher really lost because of Don Callis inserting a screwdriver trying to get him to use it. Cal Fletcher, he's a babyface, but his manager is a heel, which is really weird. Don't know how they're doing that. But Cal Fletcher, he didn't want to use it, so he throws it out the ring. Then MJF low blows Cal Fletcher, and he ends up getting the win. But it was a good match. It made sense for MJF to win. I don't think he didn't need any of the antics because MJF is a champion. He's the American champion. Goes to eliminator match. Feel like he could have won clean. Feel like that kind of ruins it when you have unnecessary antics. But it was a good match. Also on Dynamite, Darby Allin was like, he was trying to justify why he didn't set Jack Perry on fire. He was like, that doesn't end it. Or, it was really stupid. I feel like way the Blood and Guts ended, it was kind of weird because if you set him on fire, he has no choice but to accept the challenge and quit. But the rivalry between them two grows. They'll see each other at Wembley. I don't know how much interaction they'll have on TV because they haven't done much other than them Darby Allin talking. But yeah, I feel like that was one of Darby Allin's weaker segments. The Acclaim and FTR have some weird rivalry going on. I guess this all started when the FTR came back because they had been gone for a minute, and the Acclaim then they have a title match for the tag titles whenever they choose, and it's pretty clear that they're the number one contenders. So I don't know what else the first thing they approach the FTR about. I don't watch Collision, so maybe I've seen like one Collision that was last week, and you know, like the last 2 to 3 months. I don't really watch Collision, so I'm trying to figure out if that's what is happening. Because I've been pretty consistent with watching Dynamite, getting the highlights of ring page, but this just feels really weird. And the main event of Dynamite was great. Bryan Danielson, Jeff Jarrett, anything goes. That was a really good match, especially with Jeff Jarrett's age. Bryan Danielson got the win. Jeff Jarrett's, all his crew came out there. Wheeler Yuta out of Blackpool Combat Club came out there. Danielson and Jeff Jarrett, they shook hands after it. Just Jeff Jarrett wanted to see if Danielson was all in, if he was ready for Swerve. Then Swerve came out there after the match, uh, started talking, disrespecting Bryan Danielson. Then next week it's gonna be uh Swerve Strickland versus Wheeler Yuta. It was like Swerve was like, since Danielson, you just went 1-on-1 with Jeff Jarrett. How about me, Swerve Strickland? I'll go 1-on-1 with Wheeler Yuta next week to show you what I'm gonna do to you. So they definitely, so that's a great way to build that up. Having Wheeler Yuta see what he can do against Swerve, see what Swerve can do against him. And Swerve, he got Danielson got, yes, my bad. Swerve, he got some film on what Danielson is gonna bring to All In. Now it's gonna be Danielson's turn to get some film on what Swerve is gonna do, which I think it would have been better if Danielson laid out the challenge, because now Swerve is giving Danielson the opportunity to study his style more, to be more prepared. But sticking on the topic of Wheeler Yuta, the only thing from Rampage that I really thought was important was Wheeler Yuta had a great match with Rocky Romero, which he ended up winning. So that's a good match. So he's gonna have a win going into the match with Swerve on Wednesday. It looks strong. It's really hard to make Wheeler Yuta look weak. He's a really good wrestler, one of the best pure wrestlers. So I think this match with Swerve next week will be good. But that's it for AEW and Yeah, that's it for wrestling until I get to the athletes of the week at the end. But next, I'm gonna move into some push. Next is some NBA stuff. It was Lauri Markkanen. Lauri Markkanen signed a 5-year deal for $238 million, and he can't be traded this entire next season. So 2024-25 season, he cannot be traded. If he traded, if he signed the contract the day before he did, it would have allowed him to be traded by the deadline. But now that he signed it, he can't be traded the whole season. The teams like the Spurs, Warriors, and Kings were interested in him. I think the Warriors and Spurs were the best fits by him in that system with Steph, Draymond. I feel like he would have been great in that system with the Warriors. He's a good shooter. He's become an all-star. Wasn't Well, he was an all-star 2 years ago, but he's still an all-star caliber power forward who was really good. And this contract, let me just say, it's well deserved. He went through a lot from going with the stuff with the Bulls, wasn't really panning out. Then he got to the Cavs, and things started getting better. He was playing the three, being more productive. Then he got to Utah, where he fully blossomed into an all-star player. So I'm really happy that he got this contract. He's well deserved of it. But then a team like the Spurs playing with Wemby, Chris Paul, maybe a Devin Vassell, if they were able to keep him. Maybe not, since Lauri would have made the trade. They would have wanted a good young piece. But being able to play with Wemby and Chris Paul would have been great. Now, I don't know about the dynamic with him with the Kings, as they also have DeRozan, so I don't know how they would have made that work. And now this makes the market more interesting for a guy like Brandon Ingram, because now you're at the point is, what did we give up for Brandon Ingram if Lauri Markkanen is making this kind of money? Because the Warriors didn't want to give up Kuminga or Pies, and the Jazz just wanted, they wanted both. They said the Jazz would have loved both, but they wanted at least one of them. And the Warriors trying to get him Moody and a bunch of picks. I don't know if the Spurs ever made an offer. Then I don't know if the Jazz were trying to trade him. I know the Jazz were listening to offers, but I don't know if they were actively trying to trade him. But I don't. The Jazz are just gonna be at the bottom of the West, especially with how stacked it is, because the West is a bloodbath. I think the clear worst two teams in the West is the Jazz and Trailblazers, but then after that, the other 13 teams, they're all fighting to get into the play-in at worst. So you got 13 teams trying to fight for 10 spots. Somebody's gonna miss it. But that's it for that. Now moving into the Olympics recap, because a lot happened this week with the Olympics. Uh, Men's volleyball, France defeated Poland 3-0, won their second straight gold in men's volleyball. Obviously, it's in the Olympics in France this year, so I would assume a lot of them have extra motivation to compete at a high level. France dominated this matchup against Poland, winning 3-0 in their second straight gold in men's volleyball. The last set they won 25-23. Yeah, and I think Poland, what cost them was just having bad serves. Like France, they're a really good serving team, and that's what helped them. You got to start off with a good serve, because you start off bad in volleyball, that can definitely hurt your team. But they started good for the most part. So France got to go with the volleyball. Poland ended up with the silver. Norway defeated France in handball. Yeah, and then for people that don't know what handball is, it's kind of like two soccer built goals, but then you're like walking or running, I guess, and you have a ball, and you can just pass it, and you're trying to get it into the goal. So it's like a mini ball, but you're yeah, it's kind of hard to explain. But Norway was down. France started up 3-0 in the first half, and then Norway ended up winning. Norway was up 15-13 by the time it was halftime, But in that second half, Norway took over. They dominated. They ended up winning 29-21. Ended up winning by 8 after being down 3 to start the game. This was my well, I've seen a few handball games, but this was the one that I really paid attention to. This one was cool. I could definitely see myself checking out more handball in the future. I feel like that's a sport that could get bigger as the USA. But Norway took home the gold and net. France got silver. A speed climbing. That was very interesting. A speed climbing was interesting because Sam Watson from the USA, he had a four, he had a time of 4.74, and it only got him a bronze, but that was the fastest time ever. But because he had lost before that, he ended up in the bronze game. So despite having the fastest time, because he lost the round before that, because he ended up in the bronze game, and Verdict Leonardo from Indonesia got a 4.75, which was his second fastest, but that got him gold because he won all his matches to get to the final game. And Wu Ping, China, got 4.77. So all those times were extremely close in the speed climbing for the men's. But but you got to be quick. You got to, no matter who it is, no matter who you're going against, you just got to go out there and try to climb as fast as you can. And it'll just be, some guys just gonna be faster. Even if you have the fastest time, if you lost, it, and it's still gonna count in the record books as the fastest time, even though he only got bronze. Next, women's track and field. The 200 meter was really fun. Gabby Thomas, the USA guy, she won gold with a time of 21.82. Julian Alfred from St. Louisa got silver with a 22.08. And Brittany Brown from the USA got a 22.2. So it was a very close race for the 200 meter between those three. Julia Alfred, she had a very inspiring story. With just for like her country in general, like they St. Louis has been in the Olympics since 1996, and they've never medaled in anything until this Olympics. When Julia Alfred got gold, I forgot what it was in. She got gold in one race. She got gold in the 100 meter, and she got silver in the 200 meters. So she's brought St. Louisa their first two medals ever. This still to this moment the only two medals they have in the Olympics right now. Gabby Thomas from USA, she's been really good in the Olympics because I got more to cover when it comes to her in just a few moments. And yeah, Brittany Brown had a good showing, and might as well stick with it. But the women's 4x100 meter relay had Team USA led by Gabby Thomas, Shakari Richardson, Melissa Jefferson, and Teresa and Terry. They had the fastest time of 41.78. They won by point. They won by 0.07 seconds over Great Britain, who had a 41.85, and Germany, who had a 40. Then Germany had a 41.97. So they weren't as close, but U.S. they edged out Great Britain thanks to Shakari Richardson. But the whole team, they did their thing. Then last for women's track and field, it was the 400 meter hurdles. And Sydney McLaughlin Laverne had a time of 50.37 for the USA. And that set the world record for fastest time in the hurdles. And she did not look tired. She was just going. She had it the whole way through. She wasn't ahead the whole time, but when she got in the lead, she just took it and ran with it. Anna Cockrell, also from the USA, had a 51.87 to get silver. Female Bowl got a 52.15, a woman from Dutch to get bronze. The chicken with track and field, I'm gonna talk about the men's side. The steeplechase, that's it's not like a hurdle, but it's like I don't know what to call it, but it's something that they jump over. But it was a guy, Sufina El Broccoli from Buffalo at a time of 8, uh, 806, oh 05. Kenneth Brooks from the USA had 806, 41. And then Cameron Keeper Watt from Kenya had an 806, 47. Then Ethiopia, they had 3 guys that were in the top 4 for a long time, and they just ended up choking. They probably got tired since they were ahead for so long. Ethiopia had about 3 guys in the top 4 in that race, and none of them ended up medal, which that was crazy. In the men's 100 meter, this is one of the closest races I've ever seen. It was the fastest time was 9.79 and the slowest time was 9.91. It was a point 12 difference that separated the fastest to the slowest runner in this race. So it was super close. Noah Lyles won by his chest. His torso got across first, and that's how he won over Kenneth Thompson from Jamaica. He won by 0.05 seconds. And then Fred Curley, he placed bronze. But Noah Lyles and Kenneth Thompson, that was really close. I thought Thompson had won it, but Noah Lyles, he got it by a score, so won by 0.05. And in the men's 200 meter, uh, Westul Tobago from Badawish, Wana had a 19.46 to get gold. Uh, there was another Kenneth, I forgot. There was another Kenneth that won a race, but he had for the USA, he had a 19.62. Noah Lyles finished with a 19.70, but apparently he did that race with a 102 fever, and it was announced that Noah Lyles had COVID, and he didn't know it. So prayers up to him because I know that can be really difficult, and he shouldn't have been running with that type of fever. Once they found, if they knew that beforehand, he shouldn't have been able to race having that type of fever because that's just dangerous. But pretty sure he's all right. So just prayers up to that he's okay and that he continues to feel better. The women's gymnastics that took place earlier in the week, but what a story that was. And floor exercise, Rebecca Andre, she had an amazing routine from Brazil. She ended up getting gold. She did. She was amazing in that. Simone Biles ended up getting silver. And floor routine, her routine was also great. And Jordan Childs, she ended up getting the bronze. Now, this caused some controversy because there was another woman that had bronze before her, but then they had to recalculate Jordan Child's points because I guess they didn't calculate it right or whatever. So then that country tried to make an appeal that Jordan Child shouldn't have got bronze and that the other woman should have. The appeal was denied, and Jordan Child she walks away with the bronze. But I don't see how these some of these mistakes are made to even begin with. Because like you have to recalculate, then obviously something was wrong. And the judges knew that they messed up, but Jordan Childs ended up getting bronze. The balance beam was really tricky. Stoney Lee and Simone Biles both fell on the balance beam. Simone Biles fall wasn't that hard, but Stoney Lee fell pretty hard. But they were both all right. Rebecca Andre, she finished at fourth, even though she had a pretty good routine. And if for some reason Stoney Lee, Simone Biles, she asked for music and she was denied it on the balance beam, but all the other women had music. She was like the people telling the crowd to shush was just more aggravating because they're used to the noise and that's how they want it. Because that's what her and Sonny we were saying. They practice with the noise. That's how they want it. The fans should be fans, be able to cheer and do whatever. But yeah, Alice, the model from Italy, got gold on the balance beam. I seen her routine. It was really good. She didn't make any mistakes. But yeah, that was really weird. A lot of controversy came with the gymnastics earlier this week, and people are still talking about it. Then on the uneven bars, it's a tough one. Being able to do this, uh, how these women did it, is very impressive. Because Kaylee Newberg had a 15.7. She was from Algeria, and that was Algeria's first gold in gymnastics. So congratulations to her and her country. Queen Qingyun from China had a 15.5. She was supposed to get gold, but she ended up with silver. And Sony Lee for America got a 14.8. He ended up with bronze. Yeah, that's it for gymnastics. A few controversies, but it was really entertaining, fun to watch. Next is the diving, the 3 meter, the 3 meter springboard diving competition for the men. It was 12 guys in this, but there was only three of those guys that hit a score over 500. And each dive they do is scored from 0 to 100. So some of these guys are getting like 90 pluses, 80 pluses. They're not getting 70s or nothing like that. And if they do, it's very rare. So it's like uh Z Siwa had a and China got gold and silver in this. They also dominated in the semifinals because these two guys were the only two with a 500 in the semifinals. But Zia Siwa had a 543.60 after all of his diving attempts. So that's really good. So that means almost every one that he did, it was pretty amazing. Wang Songgang had a 530, had a 530.20. So he also was really good. Then the guy that got bronze was from Mexico, Osmore Oliver, and he only got a 500.40. So the two guys were trying, they both had 530 and above. Then the third was 500. And everybody else had something below 500. Next, I'm gonna cover basketball. The basketball, it was the group play stage was cool, and it meant the group play stage they determined who would get here to the quarterfinals and be able to compete for a chance at a medal. The first quarterfinal game was Germany against Greece, and Germany got the win. And all these games I pretty much did cover, but yeah, I covered all of them, so I won't go too much into detail. But Germany defeated Greece in the quarterfinal. I think if Greece had a better point guard, they could have won. But Germany had the more talented team. Serbia beat Australia by 5 after a 24-point comeback, which I think was the best game of the Olympics and the most fun of the Olympics. France got a win, upset one in my opinion over Canada, because I thought Canada would be the team facing the USA in the gold medal game. The USA, they dominated Brazil in their first matchup. That's where Booker took over. He was the leading scorer. Then you get to the semifinals where France has a close game with Germany, as I talked about, and France was winning the end. After both of these France games so far that I talked about, Wimby hadn't done anything scoring wise. He was struggling shooting the ball. So then keep that in mind when I talk about the bronze and gold medal games. Then the USA, this game was a nail biter with Serbia had a 17-point comeback. Uh, Bogdan was going off. Steph had one of his best games. That was Steph's best game. Brown had to put it. He dropped a triple double. So now you get to the medal games, which I ain't had to cover too much of that because I did recap videos on the quarterfinals and semifinals, but I ain't talked about the bronze gold medal match yet. But the bronze match, it happened at 4 this morning. I ain't wake up till 8:30, so I just caught the recap on Peacock. It it was a decent game. Serbia got the win 93-83 over Germany. Jokic had 19 points, 11 assists, 12 rebounds, shot 17 of 15 from the field. Bogdanovich, 16 points, 3 assists, 2 rebounds, 1 steal, 6 of 12 from the field, 3 of 4 from 3-point range. And Micic, who was playing point guard for Serbia, he had 19 points on 5 of 10 shooting from the field. By Serbia, they were very efficient. They were even up 19 at one point in the game. Like they took control. I think Germany got it down to 9 at one point, but it was pretty much Serbia from start to finish. Uh, Mo Wagner had the best game, his best game of the Olympics with 16 points, 4 rebounds, 1 block, 7 of 14 from the field. I definitely feel like he could have got some more rebounds, especially being one of the bigger guys on the team. But everything can't be on him. This is one of his best games. Can't discredit him for that. Franz Wagner, his brother, had 18 points, 4 assists, 3 steals, 9 rebounds, shot 5 for 14 from the field. I think he played really good, did all that he could. Should have made a few more shots because 5 of 13, that's not that good, but did what he could. Now, Dennis Schroeder had 13 points, 6 assists, 6 turnovers, 4 rebounds, and 4 of 11 from the field. So he had a 6-to-6 assist turnover ratio. So that's not great. So like he's trying to play make, but he's doing a little too much, being a little too aggressive. Uh, Getting 4 rebounds for like 6'1" guard, that's pretty good. A 4 of 11. He hasn't been shooting great. He's been a really good facilitator. He's been good doing a lot of other stuff, but just shooting, it hasn't been great for him. But Jokic and Serbia ended up taking bronze, and they played silver last year in the World Cup. This year in the Olympics, they take bronze. And Serbia, they're a really good team. By the time it comes 2028, they could be back at this one again. They may even be able to beat the United States by the time it's 2028. Because they got a lot of, same with Germany. Germany by 2028 can be able to beat Serbia. Like these teams have a lot of talent, but they're both very impressive. And congratulations to Serbia on getting the bronze. I know they wanted more than that, but you still get a medal, so it's not the worst outcome. Then to the gold medal match. You had the United States facing off against France. This game, it was by the end of the first half, the United States was up 8, but the refs were favoring France. They were getting more calls than the U.S. Some of the calls that could have gone the United States way, they were just giving that to Serbia. But I don't think the refs were terrible. I think they weren't terrible. They had a few bad calls. Uh, France, they started getting back into the game. Rudy Gobert was playing more in this one. Yabusele was still doing his thing. Wemby had one of his best offensive games. The energy for Team USA, it was there, especially after Steph got going. Like once Steph hit one, he was on for the entire night. But the USA ended up getting a win, 98-87, and to win gold in basketball, their 5th straight gold medal in Olympic basketball. Kevin Durant's 4th. He now has the most points in Olympic history and most medals in Olympic history when it comes to basketball, most gold medals. And then for Team USA, Steph had 24 points, 5 assists, 2 steals, shot 8 of 13 from 3. He only took 1 shot towards the 3, which he missed, but he was on fire. LeBron had 14 points, 10 assists, 6 rebounds, shot 6 of 10 from the field. Kevin Durant, 15 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 5 of 12 from the field. Booker also had a good game. But Kevin Durant, uh, Kevin Durant, Bron, Steph, all three of them, the the old heads, they put on a show, and this might be all of their last Olympics. LeBron is likely his last Olympics. He probably won't play in 2028. Steph in 2022 said, well, also this year he said this was his one and only chance to win a gold medal. So he's don't know if he could go back on his word, but for now, just gonna say that he's unsure. Pretty sure Kevin Durant said he's unsure as well about playing in 2028. Yabusele had another good game with 20 points, 2 rebounds, 2 steals, shot 6 of 14 from the field. Yabusele is gonna get him another contract in the NBA. I know these NBA teams are watching, looking at guys in the Olympics, say, "Oh, you're doing this in the Olympics. You can do something. You can do at least half of that where I came in the NBA." So I definitely know some scouts, some agents, whatever, that were over there watching. And Victor Wembanyama, this was his best game of the Olympics because he did all the stuff on defense that he's been doing, but he finally had the offensive output that we've been waiting on. He had 26 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, shot 11 of 19 from the field. Had a few bad threes, but a few of them were falling today, and it wasn't terrible. They ended up getting silver again. This happened in 2020 as well in Tokyo. They ended up losing to USA and getting silver. But I think France in 4 more years, by the time it's 2028, they're still going to have a really great roster. And I think they have the potential to beat the USA in 2028. This team is really good. They can get back to this point. You had Wemby, Rudy Gobert, uh, Yabusele, Portier, Fournier, Nick Batum, uh, Frank Ntilikina, and these are just the guys now. I don't remember if Bilal. I think Bilal Coulibaly played too. And you would have these other guys. Like you might have Alex Sarr, he came from France. Like this team, especially like the international talent in general, the international talent just evolves consistently. So I think 2028, like some of these games, it's a 13-point game here, blowout there. I think in 2028, these games will be a lot closer. Like you won't be seeing as many blowouts. Because the international scene just keeps expanding. Next, track cycling, pursuit teams. We was, I'm gonna start with the women's. The United States won gold in this against New Zealand. They had a time of 404.306 versus New Zealand. We had a time of 404.927. So they were 0.621 seconds faster than New Zealand, who ended up getting silver in the track cycling pursuit teams. And they're basically on bikes. It's a team of 4 or 5, I think. We have about 4 people, and they're trying to see who can get around these. I don't know what to call it, but they're trying to see who can get around the thing in the fastest time. And USA women were able to get gold in that. And then Australia, they won gold for the first time in 20 years in the men's pursuit with a times 342.067 over Great Britain, who had 344.394. It was for the men's. Australia, they won by almost 3 seconds. The men's discus throw, this is one of the craziest things I've seen. I'm gonna start with the bronze. Matthew Denny from Australia got a 69.31 meters. So on the discus throw, they're trying to throw this disc as far as they can. He got a 69.31 meters. Then silver was his guy, uh, Macolis Alakan, who got a 69.97 for Lithuania, and he held the Olympic record for 10 minutes. The guy who got gold was Rosa Stoner from Jamaica, who set the new Olympic record after 10 minutes through the disc 70 meters. So the guy that got silver held the Olympic record for the discus throw for only 10 minutes. That's where to get broken and end up getting silver and another guy to get gold. That's just insane. And then the last thing about the Olympics was weightlifting. Watch the weightlifting. I'm gonna start with the that was the men's. So I guess they calculate the totals, how much they lifted, because they had to do a snatch and they had to do a clean jerk. Uh, LaFabian from LaFabian won gold with the most kilograms of 310, but his snatch was 143 and his clean jerk was 167. So he had the best snatch and he had the worst clean jerk, but he had the best snatch. 0 pounds. Steeler Child had a 303 kilogram from Thailand with a 132 snatch and a 171 clean jerk. Then Hampton Morris from the USA had 298 kilograms because he had 126 snatch with a 172 clean jerk. See, the silver and bronze medalists, they had a great clean jerk, but they didn't start off with a good snatch. So let's say that he started off with a great snatch, then his clean jerk, it wasn't bad. It was only about 5 kilograms lower than what was most. And then adding it uh, case down from Malaysia, he was very close with 297 kilograms. He was very close to bronze. He had a 130 snatch with a 167 clean jerk. So as you see, the clean jerk is a lot better than the snatch, but 130 snatch isn't gonna get you anywhere. And that was for the 61 kilograms of snatch and clean jerk for the men's. Then for the women's weightlifting was the 49 kilograms. Uh, How Juni, she got gold with a 206 kilograms, 89 snatch and a 17. Yes, not 17. 117 clean jerk. Yeah, I want to watch that 17. Uh, July Canby, she got 205 kilograms. She was from, and the first one was from China. The second one, when I said was from Romania, had a 93 snatch with 112 clean jerk. Then, so China Campbell from Thailand, 200 kilograms, 88 snatch, 112 clean jerk. As you see, the women's was a lot closer than the men, especially with the gold and silver, only separated by one. Then it was only separated by six in total. And the woman from China, she won because she had the best clean jerk at 117 over the other two who both had 112. That's everything for the Olympics. And now I get to the last segment of the show. You know, do athletes of the week every week. First for WWE, I went with Io Sky. I think she had a great segment for Damage Control and the Sonya's group with the brawl they got into backstage. Then her winning her match against Sonya Deville, which I thought was a good match. That's why I gave it to EO Sky. I think being involved in multiple segments definitely boosts people up for me, and having a good match will help that. Like I said, with having good segments, for AEW, I went with Wheeler Yuta. Had a good segment at the end of Dynamite involving Swerve and Danielson. Then he had that great match with Rocky Romero, Rampage. For speed climbing, I went with the bronze medalist, Sam Watson, because he had the best time. He had set the world record, so I had to go with him despite him winning bronze. The women's track and field, I went with Gabby Thomas. She won the race when she was in, and then she helped lead Team USA to more gold. Men's track and field got gold in one, got bronze in another. Not, yeah, I gave it to Noah Lyles. And then, he was the one guy like I consistently saw. Like it was other people, but he was the one guy I seen in multiple races, and him doing and him having COVID, so like him still being able to get bronze was very impressive. Don't think he's lying about it. Some people claim that he's lying about it because he got bronze, which that is a funny joke, but some people take it serious, some people joking, but definitely pray for him that he gets better soon. But I get to know Lyles for the gymnastics, gave it to Rebecca Andrade. I feel like it wasn't what like it was a lot of different people, and she multiple people wearing different things, but they were only placing in one. That's why I gave it to her because she finished fourth and won. She got the gold in, in the floor exercise. Then on the balance beam, she got fourth, but she was consistently and stuff doing her thing. So I went with Rebecca Andrade. Might be saying it wrong. Give me a fan. For diving, and with see Hawaii. Even in the semifinals, he was one of the two guys to get over 500, and he stays in that 540 range. But he's a really good diver. Went with him for basketball. I went with uh, Gershon Yabusele. I feel like he was the most consistent out of all the basketball players this week. Uh, for in France's game against Canada, he had 22 points and 5 rebounds, shot 69 from the field, and played good defense in that game. In the semifinal against Germany, he had he had 17 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, shot 7 of 11 from the field. Once again, playing good defense. In the goal game today, he had 20 points, 2 rebounds, 2 steals, shot 6 of 14 from the field. I don't think his defense was as good as it was, but it was still decent today. I went with him because all 3 of the games that he had this week, he was very consistent, putting up over 20 points, putting up over 5 rebounds, and shooting very efficiently. For the distance throw, went with Rosa Stoner, set the world record for the longest distance throw in Olympic history. Men's weightlifting, I went with LaFabian, and women's weightlifting, How's Zeno, uh, might be saying that wrong. But that's it for this edition of Weekly Sports Talk with Ed. Leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment your thoughts on anything I talked about today, whether it be WWE, AEW, Lauri Markkanen's contract, the Olympics, athletes of the week, if you would have picked anybody different. But that's it for this episode of the podcast. Peace.